Look around you. The world is loud, it is demanding, it is often cruel. Every day you are bombarded by a million different variables. The economy shifts. People disappoint you. Plans fall apart. Your phone buzzes with bad news from across the globe, and your boss sends an email that ruins your weekend. Now, imagine a fortress. Not one built of stone or steel, but one built of the mind. Imagine standing in the center of a hurricane, watching the debris fly, watching the houses crumble, yet remaining completely untouched. Not because you are hiding, but because you have built a spirit that is impenetrable. This is the promise of Stoicism. It is not about suppressing your emotions until you are a robot. It is about cultivating a specific kind of strength, a mental armor, so that while the world may spin out of control, you never do. The Greeks called it Ataraxia, unshakability, freedom from anxiety. Today we are going to break down the 10 pillars of this fortress. We are not just going to list quotes, we are going to dissect the psychology of the Stoic masters. If you listen to this video to the end and truly apply these 10 principles, you will find that the things that used to ruin your day won't even register on your radar. Let us begin. Principle 1, the dichotomy of control, the sovereign's boundary. What if the majority of your daily anxiety is simply misdirected energy? We spend hours mentally battling traffic, arguing with a memory, or trying to force a stranger to like us. Why? Because we haven't drawn the line between what is ours and what belongs to the universe. The first principle is the dichotomy of control. This is not philosophy, it is psychological triage. Epictetus, a man who began life as a slave, defined true freedom in one sentence. Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us. The things up to you are your judgments, your intentions, and your responses. Everything else, the weather, your health after a point, other people's opinions, the market's performance, is external. When you seek to control the external, you surrender your peace. You become a hostage to fortune. Think of the Roman general Gnaeus Julius Agricola. He was a brilliant leader, loyal to the Emperor Domitian, yet he knew that his success and even his life were ultimately outside his control. He could control the loyalty of his troops and the integrity of his strategy, but not the political whims of a paranoid emperor. When Domitian summoned him back to Rome, Agricola returned quietly, avoiding public fanfare. He prioritized his integrity, internal, over his reputation and safety, external. When the call came, he simply followed the path of reason, untouched by the fear of loss, because he had never owned the outcome in the first place. Most people are exhausted because they are trying to steer the entire ocean instead of just their own boat. Every time you worry about what others are thinking, you are trying to pilot someone else's ship. Every time you rage against an unexpected delay, you are arguing with reality. The moment you internalize the dichotomy, your energy is reclaimed. You stop wasting strength on the things that cannot be changed, and you focus intensely on the things that can be: your effort, your character, and your next move. This isn't passivity, it's the supreme act of self-command. You are choosing to be the sovereign of your inner world, regardless of the chaos raging outside your borders. Your challenge today: list 3 major worries you have. For each one, categorize it: action, internal, controllable, or result, external, uncontrollable. Spend the next 24 hours focusing only on the actions. Your mantra: I control my effort, not the outcome. My peace is non-negotiable. Principle 2, the discipline of ascent, the pause of power. Why does a single word from a stranger feel like a physical blow? It's because we instantly agree with the toxic narrative our mind creates. Principle 2 is the discipline of ascent. This is the mechanism by which we apply the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius gave us the instruction. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The Stoics taught that between an event and your emotion, there is a necessary but often invisible step, your judgment or assent to the initial impression, Sympathia. The fire alarm goes off. Event, loud noise. Impression, I am in danger, panic. If you assent, agree, to that impression without testing it, you trigger an emotional panic attack. If you pause and question it, is this a real fire or a drill? Is this information accurate? You revoke your assent. The impression loses its power over you. The modern world trains you to panic and react instantly. Notifications, outrage cycles, instant debates. It's all designed to bypass the discipline of assent. The Stoic takes back this moment. The moment the impression flashes, I am humiliated, I am ruined, I am insulted. You must hold it still. You must place it on the operating table of reason. The insult is just noise. I am the one labeling it harm. This is the ultimate mental judo. The force of the external event is redirected into a question. What is the nature of this event, and what unhelpful opinion am I adding to it? When you stop labeling things as inherently bad, your emotional life stabilizes. You are no longer tossed by the waves because you choose not to climb aboard the boat of panic. To be untouchable, you must make a habit of not signing the emotional contract every time an external event presents itself. Your challenge today: for every negative event, adopt the Epictetus rule. Pause and ask, what am I choosing to believe about this event? Is it within my control to stop believing it? Your mantra: the impression is not the truth. I pause, I question, and I choose my belief. Principle 3. The Inner Citadel, your unbreachable command center. Where do you go when the world is burning? Most people flee to distractions, alcohol, excessive consumption, or endless scrolling. But the Stoic knows that external refuge is temporary. Principle 3 is building the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius described it as the only true available retreat. Nowhere can a man withdraw to a more quiet or unmolested retreat than into his own soul. This is your psychological command center, a place fortified by reason and your core values. The inner citadel, hegemonikon, is the ruling faculty of the mind, the part that always remains sane, logical, and uncorrupted, even if the body is imprisoned or the reputation is ruined. The power of this citadel is its portability. You don't need to book a flight to find it. You access it through reflection. When faced with noise, chaos, or anger, you retreat to your values. Is your value justice? Then you refuse to act unjustly, regardless of provocation. Is your value courage? Then you refuse to flee from the truth. The external noise cannot penetrate this inner space because it is defended by your self-made code of ethics. We see this beautifully in the story of Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher repeatedly exiled by Emperor Nero. Nero could send Rufus to a harsh, remote island, stripping him of his property and comfort. But Nero could not exile Rufus from his own mind. In exile, Rufus continued to teach, write, and practice virtue. He demonstrated that true freedom is not found in political liberty, but in the indestructible integrity of the soul. The inner citadel ensures that you are never truly homeless, powerless, or friendless. You are always grounded in your own reason. It turns you from a vulnerable building into a fortified castle. You must train yourself to check in daily, to clean the windows of perception, and to reinforce the walls with quiet contemplation. Make your mind the safest place you know. Your challenge today: practice a 1-minute retreat. When stressed, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths and ask, what is my core duty right now? Do not answer the external problem. Answer the internal duty, e.g., patience, clarity, effort. Your mantra: my soul is my fortress. It is always accessible and cannot be breached. Principle 4, Memento mori, the fuel of urgency. Why are we so easily distracted by trivial drama? Because we assume we have time to kill. Principle 4 is Memento mori. Remember that you will die. This is not a dark contemplation. It is a clarifying force. Seneca warned us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. It heightens gratitude. After rehearsing the loss of your possessions or your loved ones, you look up and realize, I still have them. This instant, artificial loss snaps you out of the hedonic treadmill and replaces complacence with profound gratitude. Imagine the professional athlete who loses a massive sponsorship deal. The non-Stoic collapses. The Stoic, having mentally prepared for financial instability, feels the disappointment, but immediately shifts to the question, what is my resourcefulness? What is my next viable skill? They remain unshaken because the catastrophe was merely a trigger, not a surprise. The practice of premeditatio malorum is your shield against being blindsided. You confront fear on your own terms, in the safe space of your mind, so that when fear arrives in reality, you greet it like an old tiresome acquaintance. Nothing can terrify a mind that has already anticipated and survived everything. Your challenge today: for 5 minutes, mentally rehearse a minor disaster, e.g., losing your phone or a small amount of money. When you are done, feel the relief of realizing that the disaster did not happen and reflect on the irrationality of the fear. Your mantra: I anticipate the worst, to appreciate the best, and to always be prepared. Principle 6, Amor fati, the alchemist's secret. What is the difference between enduring suffering and using suffering? It is the difference between being a victim and being an alchemist. Principle 6 is Amor fati, the love of fate. This is not passive resignation, it is active embrace. It means not only accepting the events of your life, but genuinely welcoming them, recognizing that they are necessary ingredients for your growth. Marcus Aurelius gave us the defining metaphor. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When a difficulty arises, the non-Stoic asks, why did this happen to me? The Stoic asks, since this has happened, what is the best thing I can make of it? The obstacle itself is not an enemy to be eliminated, but a raw material to be worked into strength. Consider the story of the philosopher Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. He lost all his wealth in a shipwreck. He arrived in Athens with nothing but the clothes on his back. Instead of despairing, he later claimed, I made a prosperous voyage when I was shipwrecked. Why? Because that loss forced him into a life of philosophy, which became his true purpose and gift to the world. The disaster became the doorway. Amor fati transforms you from a fragile machine dependent on smooth roads into a robust system designed to thrive on friction. When you encounter betrayal, you don't curse the person. You thank fate for the lesson in discernment and resilience. When you face an impossible workload, you see it as a chance to practice unparalleled self-discipline. To be truly unshakable, you must view every event, good or bad, as a necessary thread in the perfect tapestry of your life story. When you love your fate, nothing can be truly bad, because everything becomes an opportunity for you to practice virtue and demonstrate your inner strength. You stop fighting the flow of life and start harnessing its power. Your challenge today: when faced with a sudden setback or annoyance, catch yourself before complaining. Say good, and then immediately state one positive character trait that this specific difficulty allows you to practice. E.g., the client cancelled the project. Good. Now I practice patience and flexibility. Your mantra: I do not wish for things to be easier. I wish to be stronger. The obstacle is my instruction. Principle 7. The view from above, scaling your problems down. Why do small problems feel so massive in the moment? Because your perspective is too narrow. You are too close to the canvas. Principle 7 is the view from above, or cosmic consciousness. This practice involves mentally distancing yourself from your immediate circumstances and viewing your life, your problems, and your lifespan against the backdrop of the universe. Imagine floating up out of your body. Look down at your home, your city, your continent. Notice the millions of other people struggling, laughing, worrying. Then zoom out further. Witness the rise and fall of empires over thousands of years, how all the kings and queens who felt their problems were the most important are now forgotten dust. Finally, look at the sheer scale of the cosmos. In this context, your intense work stress, your public embarrassment, or your financial frustration suddenly shrink to their actual size, microscopic and temporary. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, used this technique daily to combat the overwhelming nature of imperial life. He realized that the petty jealousies of the court and the fleeting nature of political power were insignificant compared to the eternity of time and the vastness of the universe. This detachment was his anchor. The view from above is not about making you feel small. It's about making your problems small. It is a powerful tool to defeat the ego's tendency toward self-importance. It allows you to step out of the drama and ask, will this matter in a year? Will it matter in 100 years? When you realize how quickly your life passes, you gain an immense amount of emotional detachment from transient inconveniences. You stop sweating the small stuff because, from a cosmic perspective, it's all small stuff. This perspective grants you an immediate, effortless calm that is essential for unshakability. Your challenge today: when you feel yourself spiraling into worry, close your eyes and practice the time travel exercise. Mentally skip forward 10 years. Look back at your current problem and ask, how much space in my mind does this problem occupy now? Then, return to the present and adjust your emotional reaction accordingly. Your mantra: my problem is a speck, my reaction is infinite. I choose the large perspective. Principle 8, Sympathia, the weapon against hate. How do you stop being hurt by the actions of malicious people? You stop seeing them as opponents and start seeing them as parts of yourself. Principle 8 is Sympathia, the realization of the interconnectedness of all things, and the deep understanding that we are all part of one rational cosmos. We are, as Marcus Aurelius said, made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids. This is the Stoic solution to anger and resentment. When someone acts ignorantly, rudely, or unjustly, our natural reaction is to hate them. But hate requires immense energy and poisons the hater, not the hated. Sympathia forces you to recognize that the offender is acting out of ignorance of the good. They are mentally ill, not deliberately evil. They are simply confused about what will truly bring them happiness, which only virtue can do. Instead of becoming angry, you feel pity. You treat the offender like a patient with a fever. You wouldn't yell at a feverish patient for coughing. You recognize the cough is a symptom of their disease. Similarly, the person's malice is a symptom of their lack of wisdom. You can protect yourself from their actions without allowing their state of mind to corrupt yours. This principle is what allowed Stoics to navigate the brutal political landscape of Rome without becoming tyrants themselves. They refused to let the cruelty of the external world force them to become cruel internally. By practicing Sympathia, you stop taking injustice personally. It is simply the nature of the universe that not all parts will operate perfectly. Your job is not to fix the entire universe, but to ensure that your part, your mind, operates according to reason and justice. Nothing can break you if you refuse to let the darkness of others infect your own soul. Your challenge today: the next time someone is rude to you, silently say this: "This person is struggling with their own mind. I will not let their confusion become my contamination." Then respond with the minimum necessary action, devoid of emotional reaction. Your mantra: they are mistaken, not malicious. I will act with justice, regardless of their error. Principle 9. Defining your own success, the internal scorecard. Why do so many successful people feel empty? Because they let the world write the definition of success for them. Principle 9 is about embracing the internal scorecard, defining your own success based purely on what is under your control. The world measures success by indifference, money, fame, titles. The Stoic measures success by virtue. When you attach your self-worth to external metrics, you are constantly vulnerable. A bad review, a failed investment, or a public shaming can completely shatter you because you've handed the key to your peace to a fickle outside world. The Stoic reclaims this key by defining success as acting with integrity. Did you work hard? Did you treat people kindly? Did you show courage when it was difficult? If you did, you are a success, regardless of the outcome. This focus on the process, on your prohairesis, rational choice, is the ultimate source of emotional stability. Imagine a scientist who spends 10 years working on a cure only for the final experiment to fail. The world sees failure. The Stoic sees success. 10 years of dedicated effort, intellectual honesty, and courage against long odds. The scientist's character is unimpaired. When you only judge yourself by your intention and effort, you become immune to the sting of external failure. You can lose a fortune, a job, or a relationship, but you can always walk away knowing your character is intact, and that is all that truly matters. True fulfillment comes not from achieving a goal, but from honoring the climb. Your challenge today: write down a goal you are currently pursuing. Then, write 3 metrics the world uses to measure that goal, e.g., salary, promotion. Now, cross those out. Write down your internal metric, the one quality of character you must exhibit, e.g., diligence, honesty, resilience. Focus only on achieving that. Your mantra: my worth is measured by my effort, not my reward. I am internally validated. Principle 10. Virtue is the sole good, the undefeatable resource. What is the one thing no tyrant, no disaster, and no human can ever take from you? Principle 10 is the summit of Stoicism. Virtue is the sole good. This is the ultimate shield that makes you truly untouchable. The Stoics argued that the only true good is virtue, acting according to reason and living with integrity. Everything else is a mere indifferent. Health, wealth, and status are temporary. They can be used for evil, and they can be stripped away instantly. But your capacity for justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom is yours alone. It cannot be stolen, taxed, or imprisoned. This is the most valuable asset you possess. Consider Epictetus again, a former slave whose owner, Epaphroditus, once tortured him by twisting his leg. Epictetus simply warned him calmly, "You will break it." When the leg snapped, Epictetus, completely composed, said, "Did I not tell you that you would break it?" Epaphroditus controlled the physical fact of the leg, external. Epictetus controlled his response, internal, maintaining his dignity, courage and reason, virtue. His owner was the slave to his anger. Epictetus was the free man in chains. When you prioritize your virtue, nothing external has the power to break you because you have nothing to lose. The only way to lose is to choose to act unjustly, cowardly, or foolishly. If you maintain your integrity in the face of ruin, you are, by the Stoic definition, undefeated. This is the final, fundamental psychological shift. Your happiness and security are not dependent on external circumstances, but on the unyielding quality of your character. Build your life around this one immutable truth, and you become a rock in the storm. Your challenge today. Before every major decision or difficult conversation, ask yourself, which of the 4 virtues is most needed here? Wisdom, justice, courage, or temperance? And how can I prioritize it over my fear or comfort? Your mantra. My character is my only true possession. I am undefeated as long as I remain virtuous. Conclusion. The warrior's code. These are the 10 principles: the sovereign's boundary, the pause of power, the inner citadel, the fuel of urgency, the disaster rehearsal, the alchemist's secret, scaling your problems down, the weapon against hate, the internal scorecard, and the undefeatable resource. But listening to this video is not enough. Information is not transformation. Stoicism is not a religion you believe in. It is a martial art you practice. You will fail. You will get angry. You will worry. That is okay. You are human. But the next time the world tries to knock you down, I want you to catch yourself. Remember the fortress. Remember the view from above. Remember that the obstacle is the way. Nothing can affect you unless you let it. The keys to your freedom are already in your hands. Will you use them? If you want to build your inner citadel with us, start by hitting the subscribe button. And I have a challenge for you. Pick one of the 10 mantras we covered, just one, and internalize it ruthlessly for the next 48 hours. Write that single mantra in the comments below. Let your commitment be public. Stay strong, stay stoic.